Hello, everyone out there in
Facebook land.
or wherever you are.
We are grateful to be here yet another Wednesday. It's been quite a week since we saw you all last, and we are grateful to be here and to share in the energy of the goddess Spider Woman. So Paige and I were chatting about some things just before we got in here for our formal chat with you all, and just really feeling this goddess deeply. I am, because I am been doing a lot of work over the last couple of weeks, opening up my awarenesses and my senses to listen to the divine more, and to really draw in the awarenesses of what they wish to create through me. And that's exactly how I see it, is I'm not creating, I'm co-creating with the divine these ideas and inspirations that come through to me. And they are coming to me because I am the vessel that is aligned to that message. And we are hoping to share more about that today, and how we can step fully into our magical powers of creation with the divine on our side, working along with us, dropping those ideas and inspirations into us. And then, as Paige was talking about just a little while ago with me, being very mindful about what you're saying. So Paige, let's talk about that for a moment.
Well, Grandmother Spider, otherwise known as Spider Woman, is very highly revered in the Indigenous Native American culture, and she is the one who creates from source. And you think of this, and we like to create from our heart. That's, where I think we all intuitively connect with source, and because everything comes from here, through the heart, and through the root, through the heart. So when we are creating with that center of the heart, and then we're just weaving this tapestry of thoughts and ideas and bringing people in, and I was just thinking about this beautiful web that starts in the beginning, watching the spider just very carefully and intentionally just moving, and she knows how the pattern is supposed to be, and it's both I'm thinking of a spider's web is both flexible and fluid, because it has to withstand rain and wind and all of that, but still maintain and just how beautiful that can be. And then it just, like Ramona was saying right before we came on, I was saying that it also reminds me of oh, what a tangled web we weave when we practice to deceive, and what deceptions have been woven or perceived deception we're experiencing in this 3D world that people are getting caught up in. And it reminds me, I need to be mindful of my thoughts, because that's what's going to be going into this weaving. And what is in my heart? What is that intention? Am I filtering it through, coming through the center of the purest intention?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's just really what kind of came to me.
Well, and I think that when we sit quietly and we ask for help, we ask for guidance, we meditate, we pray, and then the actions that are taken beyond those prayers and meditations and ideas and inspirations flowing into us, we want to be purposeful with those actions. And those actions are what we talk about, and not just in relation to the idea that we want to create, but anything that would affect our ability to move in that direction. Having been on this path for as long as I have ridden the roller coaster of awareness and getting caught up in the noise. And that's exactly how I see it. I have these moments where I'm very clear and I can hear very well and I'm very in tune, and I'm a human being. So sometimes I get completely off track. I was telling Paige right before we got on here today that we spent a lot of time this last year in our household not practicing some of the things that I was consistently practicing prior to having been locked into our house last March. And so that awareness of this isn't serving me, these behaviors that I'm participating in are not serving my greater desires and outcome. So if I'm over here and I'm doing something that isn't healthy for me or is toxic, this idea that I have over here, this inspiration, this desire that I'm wishing to create, I'm affecting it.
Mm-hmm.
So I woke up January 1st and was like, no more. And has spent the last 13 days on a very specific path of unity. And so when I think of co-creation, it's this coming together of all of myself, my physical self, my mental self, my emotional self, my spiritual self, and that unity then allows me to be in co-creation with my divine source, how I see that to be, how you see it to be. So, my husband and I over these years have talked about, oh, well, we're going to try this thing, we're going to try that thing. I'm like, well, that's great, but if you don't do this, this, and this, then it really doesn't make a point to do this over here. So we got to put all those things together to create that web that's going to catch your dream, right? So what do webs do? They catch their food, right? They catch their nourishment, they catch their energy. So think about the web and how are you catching your energy? Are there holes so that it can go through your web? Or does your web have that, as we talked about, that even, it's a mandala, the spider web. If you look at it, it's a mandala, it's in a circle, and it's just this weaving, right? I had a treatment on January 2nd, and one of the protocols that I was asked to continue after the treatment for the next 20 days was to envision my entire being wrapped in figure eights.
Ooh.
So I've been drawing figure eights on my body. I have been envisioning myself in this crystalline bubble of figure eights. And it's like a web.
I love that. I was just thinking about knitting.
Uh-huh.
There was a time in college we were all knitting crazy, and I like needle crafts and things like that. I've always done things, and that you get so caught up in you're following the pattern, and I used to do those patterns that kind of went out this way, and but you miss a stitch, you miss something, then
you gotta pull
the
it
pattern
all back
gets
out.
all wonky, and then you gotta rip the doggone thing out. And it was almost like, okay, if I had just paid a little bit more attention and not want it to get from here to the finished thing, immediately, then I could have saved myself a whole lot of trouble.
That is a really, really, really good point that you just made. From here to the finished thing. That's one of the things that I take from the goddess Spider Woman here, is that don't be in a hurry. There was a statement made and I think I posted in our introduction to her on Monday, that the idea of your intention is more important than the form of it. And I talk about this in the coaching that I do, that when you put yourself in a box, when you put your ideas in a box, it must look like this in order for me to be happy, then you are actually blocking the energy flow to you. You've put
Oh,
walls
that's right.
around it. So it's not, it can't go through, it can't come to you, it can't flow. Oh, what do I have here? Oh, okay. Talk about manifesting.
All right.
It's not for my physical life, it's for my son's, but it's good things.
Oh, good.
So,
Good.
but so yeah, I think that it's important to really take yourself outside of the necessity of it being done and into the joy of the flow of the creation, and in the joy of co-creating with the divine and watching things manifest like magic. That's when I get real excited and I know I'm really in the flow with the divine, is when all of a sudden it's like things start happening and I'm like, well, how did that happen?
Right.
Because it feels like magic, right?
But it is magic.
It is. But it's happened because I am acting as a magnet for that to come to me, and so anything that I'm putting out is in alignment with that intention that I'm moving towards.
Well,
and that's what we're talking about in January here, right? Is setting intentions, because we're working our way towards March, towards the spring equinox, towards the time where we're actually planting those seeds. Right now, they're ideas and inspirations. We actually begin to birth those ideas and inspirations in the spring.
Yeah, when you talk about creating or magic, there I often talk about words and that word abracadabra, meaning as I speak, so I create.
Yes.
And so there again, when we speak our intention, we are weaving, we are attracting light energies to that. So once again, we just have to really be mindful of where is this all coming from and how do we want to move forward in that co-creating. And it's the everything, and what we speak, what we think, what we eat, how we watch, what we watch, right? We just want to nourish ourselves and all of that. It's not any one thing that's going to make that beautiful web.
Exactly. It's the co-creation of all. It's the unity, it's bringing it all together. Yeah. Right.
And we don't do it in a silo. We don't do it by ourselves sitting here. We use the energies of our sister goddesses and those around us who can support us. And we're here for you this brand new year to help sow those seeds of intention.
And we have some ideas and inspiration too.
We do. Yeah. And that's exciting because it's a lot of fun to do this in a group. And so I'm looking forward to that. And then, and then tonight we're doing something.
Yes. Yeah, we have our new moon, our first new moon of 2021.
Yeah.
And tap into that co-creation energy. And I think that maybe since we're on Spider Woman this week, maybe she'll make an appearance tonight for our meditation.
I love how the goddess shows up in these moments. I'm looking forward to it as always.
Yeah. As am I, goddess sisters. So we hope that you have a beautiful Wednesday, and if you are interested in joining us, we'll drop the link for tonight's new moon session into our feed here in just a moment, just so it's readily available and you can join us. We look forward to sharing this time with you every new moon. So Paige, it's always lovely to spend Wednesday morning with you. Thank you, my friend.
You as well.
And we will see you all very soon. Have a beautiful day.
Namaste, goddesses.
Namaste.